people when there is not anything.
Let me ask you something. Do you see your job as ending vaccine hesitancy, or do you see your job as telling the truth to the American people?
I see my job as telling the truth, and the truth is that there is study after study after study. It's one of the most studied things out there in science,
and it is like a parrot.
Trust the experts. Trust the experts. Trust the science. Trust the science.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me a single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
I am talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
And you cite me the study.
What study?
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Former top advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID.
Most important to me is the free speech of this. So, let's get this out, shall we? 78% of British Muslims believe that no publication should publish pictures of Muhammad. An overwhelming majority. That rises to 87%. That's 9 out of every 10 Muslims that are walking the streets today in a country which absolutely abandoned blasphemy laws.
Well, another eventful weekend has passed. President Trump filled the airwaves with memes again, yet the highlight for most was the brutal takedown of CNN's Dana Bash by our very own RFK Jr. Fauci continues to get beat down on social media despite the deep state distraction in Spain that they put together. We will also touch on an amazing debate held at Oxford. Absolutely brilliant how that one played out. I can't wait to share that with you. We're at 514,000 followers on Rumble. Thank you, folks, for helping us get that far. Definitely praise the Lord for that. We were number one with our Remember the Alamo, Don't Sharia My Texas interview with Chris Burgard. Thank you so much for that. That's in the upper 200,000s, I believe, now. And in case you guys missed it, here's the intro for that.
Most America still thinks of Islam as a religion. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a civilization with its own oppressive political system that has rules for every moment of a Muslim's daily life. And those rules, that law, is Sharia. You cannot have Sharia law and constitutional law in the same civilization. So when Americans and Texans actually find out what's going on, they're like, no way. No, I'm not giving up the Constitution. And every serviceman, every law enforcement officer, every politician that's taken an oath to defend the Constitution has to stand against Sharia, or they're betraying their oath.
Amazing interview. Remember the Alamo.com, and it's got the /AWK. If you guys go check that out, we'd really appreciate it. Amazing interview for all to see. Also, we have these available for all of you.
Our new And We Know bracelets connect you with scripture with just the tap of your phone. Simply tap your phone to the bracelet, click the pop-up, and there's a new verse every time. If you're feeling anxious, need to pray, or just want to see what God has for you in the moment, you can tap for a verse and pray over that situation. Now available online.
Available online at our new website, andweknow.com. And I just love this, folks. We worked a long time to get this one up, and it is brilliant. Latest episode. We've got our crews listed there for you guys to see. Kirk Elliott, Gold and Silver. You can see the Patriot Showcase. All of our partners are easy to find now. You can click on those below. Keep the ministry going. And also you can send your Patriot Showcase pictures right there. We'll use these on future podcasts for all to see. So thank you so much, folks. Let's get in with this one.
You are the HHS secretary, and you are talking about things that lead to vaccine hesitancy in this country, and it is something that causes problems for people when there is not anything.
Let me ask you something. Do you see your job as ending vaccine hesitancy, or do you see your job as telling the truth to the American people?
I see my job as telling the truth, and the truth is that there is study after study after study. It's one of the most studied things out there in science.
You're repeating
and it
it
is
like a parrot. You're repeating it like a parrot. I've actually read the science. You don't come back here and debate the science.
I'm not debating this with you.
Of course you won't.
No, because I'm not debating.
All you know how to do is repeat things that people told you and say, trust the experts. That's what you did during COVID. Now we know that Anthony Fauci, who was the expert, was lying about everything, about masks, about the social distancing, about natural immunity, about the transmission from the vaccine, about the source of COVID. He was lying, and you were punishing people for not trusting the experts. And now you're rolling out the experts again to talk about something that you have no personal knowledge of.
Okay, well, guess what? That is my job, to talk to people.
Your job is to tell the truth to the American public.
Yes, and my job is to get as much information as I can. And what we were doing,
skepticism,
what we were doing in COVID and still with regard to these vaccines is getting the best information, the best science that we can, and putting it out there. And sir, what you are doing is causing information to be out there that is not accurate.
Who was lying to you?
Here we are years later. RFK Jr. sitting at the helm. He walks in. He's been assigned HHS secretary. Therefore, he's the expert. She's not. She's a simple news anchor. You guys get it? She's supposed to sit there, ask questions, and not tell him that she has the truth. Instead, she wants to play debate. And she's messing with the wrong man who's got decades of experience. He's been on the front lines in this battle. And she just walked in and she thought she could talk to a general as if all she is some private who's barely made it through boot camp to become a news anchor. And she's finally taken down for all to see publicly. RFK Jr. never seen him this fired up before. Have you? Maybe working out in the gym with the military. But he was letting her have it. And poor guy with his voice messed up like that continues to put up a fight for we the people. He's had enough. If you're looking at your screen, Svetlana Lakova says Dana Bash's former husband is Jeremy Bash, Obama's CIA chief of staff. There you go, CIA. Dana Bash kept her husband's last name. Jeremy Bash was one of the signatories to the Biden laptop letter used by the CIA to interfere in the 2020 election. Dana Bash is a deep state operative, fully trained, brought up in such a way that she would do nothing but support the deep state in their efforts to take out we the people. Okay? Let's continue.
It is also factually true that the COVID vaccine worked. The COVID vaccine prevented deaths. There is data upon data upon data. Let's talk about the measles, please, because this is something that is happening as we speak. The cases in the U.S.
vaccine protected children.
Isn't that amazing? He let her talk. She looks down at her paperwork. She makes a statement. It's proven that the vaccines work no matter how many times, guys, and I'll play a clip a little bit later, just kind of showing you, just a reminder, right, what they did to us. It's 100% effective, 95% effective, 90% effective, 80%, 70%. We need this shot. You need an extra shot. You need another shot. You need a booster. And what happened to all of us? What happened? We've gone through this so many times for so many years. And we've been trying to get out on the mainstream media to get this information out, and they just didn't listen. They took people off social media and more. And finally, we have RFK Jr. at the helm, and he's like, okay, I'll let her say that. Right before she asks the next question, I'm going to bug her. And he asked the question, can you show me a study? Shows children were protected by the COVID vaccine?
I think that what I have talked to scientists and
You
doctors
talk to
about.
scientists. Can you show me one study
Yes, I can.
that shows that
I can.
children were protected by the COVID vaccine?
I can tell you that there are.
vaccine did more good than harm to children. Can you show me one study that shows that?
I can tell you that when it comes to the vaccine, there have been studies that show that because of vaccine disinformation, there could have been 100 to 200,000 lives in the U.S. saved. But because people didn't get the vaccine, that's why. I'm not saying that it entirely.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me a single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
You are talking what somebody told you.
Excuse me.
And you cite me the study. What study?
No, what studies are you talking about? You're talking about studies that actually don't exist. I want to talk about.
Cite me.
So she has nothing except shock on her face. You guys catch this part? Right when he says this, let's see, right about here, he says something to her and she flips out. Right about here. See that face? How dare he? Let me see.
You are saying nonsense. You are saying.
You're saying nonsense and she does the look. Anybody have friends out there like that you lost because we tried to tell them the truth and they just want to fight it out? We've got proof. We're showing you the proof, and we try to show them proof. Well, look, like how you were lied to. 100%, 90%, 80%, 70%. Take another shot, booster. It's going to help you. It's 100% effective. And they turn on you. They get mad, and they start screaming and yelling before you know it. They don't want to talk to you anymore. I've got friends that watch this show. They've got family members, sisters, actually, brothers, parents say, you know what, I'm not talking to you anymore. And it's still an issue with them, not us. These guys, fully trained operatives to lie to the people. Nicholas Ulsher, great resource. RFK Jr. destroys CNN's Dana Bash after she couldn't cite a single study showing COVID shots protected children. She didn't want to mention the CDC study that found Pfizer vaccinated children face a 257% higher risk of symptomatic COVID and 159% higher risk of COVID infection. Oh, no, she doesn't want to list that. CNN had live death trackers rolling during COVID. Thank you, C3, for posting these. You guys remember the death trackers? Anywhere you went in the world, they had these things popped up. CNN, remember, all around the earth. If you travel around to different places, go over to England, Europe, whatever, turn on the TV in some hotel and you want English, CNN. The liars, the Communist News Network. Here we go.
How do you prepare then? How do you prepare for the next pandemic? I mean, that's literally part of your job now because experts think it's going to happen within the next 10 years. Again,
what experts? What experts? Who are you talking to? All the people that want to make it happen again. The folks that do gain of function, the folks that have to create these things, make them happen so that the whole earth goes into panic, and then we have to put it out on Netflix and put it out in the movies and get into the psyche of the people. Then we're going to scare them again, and we're going to make them think that, oh, we need to create another vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did virtually everything wrong the last time.
So what about now?
The principal thing that we need to do is we need to listen to what's happening to doctors on the ground. There are 15 million frontline physicians around the world. They're mainly now connected through the internet. We can tell on the front lines what's working and what's not. If we had listened to those doctors during the COVID pandemic, we would have saved potentially millions of lives. There were therapeutics out there that were working. There were doctors that were having no deaths from COVID and treating, in some cases, thousands of patients. And we weren't listening to them. Instead, we were doing the opposite.
How about that? She actually let them talk. Listen to what's happening to doctors. Remember all the doctors that had their social media accounts shut down? Remember they had to stand there in D.C. in their white robes and tell everybody what's really going on? And they're like, nope, we're shutting them down. Nope, we're going to not allow them to practice any more and more. If you look at your screen, every one of the pre-written talking points came from big RX advertisers on Communist News Network. The propaganda. Look at that on her left hand she's holding on to, folks. You see all that blue paper? Everything she needed to be prepped to go into this, in this battle. She probably had no idea that RFK Jr. was going to take her to the woodshed and really wake up America. I got a lot more on this in a moment. Well, folks, if you're struggling to fall asleep at night or you're waking up with that constant ache, we had a great interview with Nathan Madden from Emerald Med Pure CBD. Talked about their wonderful oil, nature's clean support for deeper rest and everyday comfort. Their full spectrum formula preserves up to 50 plus natural hemp compounds, minor cannabinoids, terpenes, and flavonoids working together for better results than isolated CBD. Made with non-GMO hemp, raw extracts, and blended with coconut MCT for fast absorption. No solvents, synthetic sweeteners, or fake flavors, just pure, powerful relief. At 2,250 milligram strength, each bottle delivers over 3,300 milligrams of total support. The reason so many customers feel the difference and come back again and again. Wake up refreshed, move through your day more comfortably, experience clean, effective support the natural way. Go in that description box below and get your pure relief for sleep and comfort. Emerald Med CBD Comfort today.
I wasn't part of the problem. I wasn't part of the problem.
She said, I wasn't part of the problem in this interview. Dilly Meme team put this together for Dana Bash. I wasn't part of the problem.
But I also don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that aren't entirely true. Can you clear this up for us? Do you recommend that every single American 18 and older get a booster shot?
Absolutely, Dana. Let's make it clear. You know, when there's lack of clarity, people get confused. They're not sure what to do.
I wasn't part of the problem. I wasn't part of the problem.
If you are 18 or older and you've been vaccinated, fully vaccinated with the Moderna or the Pfizer mRNA 6 months or more ago, get a booster. If it's J&J and it's 2 months ago or more, get a booster. I don't think we should get hung up on should, may. Just go out and get boosted.
But I also don't want to use this interview to allow you to say things that aren't entirely true.
Looking ahead to Christmas, right now, since we can vaccinate children from 5 to 11, you start vaccinating them now, they will be fully vaccinated by the time we get to the Christmas holidays. And that's what we should be thinking about.
I wasn't part of the problem. I wasn't part of the problem.
This is CNN.
You were a huge part of the problem. We all know it.
We do have some breaking news. Drug maker Pfizer just announcing the results of its vaccine trial for adolescents. It says its coronavirus shot was 100% effective at preventing infection and sickness among 12 to 15-year-olds. This could be a major game changer for reopening schools across America. So joining us now is Dr. Chris Purnell. She's a public health physician and fellow at the American College of Preventive Medicine. Dr. Purnell, great to see you. 100% effective? Is that, I mean, John and I haven't heard numbers like that. Is that unusual to find that efficacy rate?
Well, that's even higher than what we were reported when we had 95% efficacy in adults. Look, we know these mRNA vaccines are a game changer. The technology is different. The technology is very promising.
I mean, it's 100%. I mean, you know, it does not get any better.
100%. That's what they kept telling us.
You want to end this gain of function research. Some scientists say, isn't it better just to put better guardrails around it?
Experts say we should continue gain of function. Create viruses in a lab. Just keep it contained. Who cares that they're playing God with these chemicals that they mix together? Come on. Shouldn't we just keep this going?
People have been trying to put guardrails around it for generations, and it hasn't worked. And clearly, COVID-19 pandemic and many other global pandemics that we have come from gain-of-function research. The RSV epidemic that we have, that is the biggest killer of kids in this country today, came from these kind of experiments. The Lyme disease almost certainly came from this kind of research. So, and the scientists who you say are experts are making the argument that this is necessary for pandemic response, cannot point to one instance in history where research that came out of this kind of experimentation has actually provided us something beneficial.
RSV. Do you guys know that came from gain of function research? Kills kids, he says. Interesting because my daughter had RSV a week after she was born. So on Christmas Day, we had to take her in. She was pretty much gone. The entire story about that is actually in my book. If you guys go to andweknow.com, you can find my book. And I talk about and share what happened with our daughter at that time and the miracle that played out where our Heavenly Father stepped in through nurses that prayed together. She was in the hospital for for a little over a month just to keep her alive. I'll never forget that. Gain of function research, huh?
Well, gain of function research is a kind of research where you take a pathogenic organism like a coronavirus and you try to make it more virulent. You try to get it so that it can spread faster and that it's more deadly. And why would you do such a thing? Well, either because you want to weaponize it or because they say that we want to develop a vaccine against future mutations, which is nonsense. No good thing has ever come from gain-of-function research. So we've now adopted a system that is going to end it in our country, and we believe will end it around the world, because any scientist, we will no longer support science in other countries that support it. Any scientist that does these experiments will be punished, and they can be permanently banned from any kind of grants. And the universities also that support this research will also suffer liability. We've had too many bad things happen, with Lyme disease that almost certainly came from these experiments that is now devastating our country. RSV that came from a laboratory, which is now the biggest killer of children in our country. And of course, the COVID-19 pandemic, which was the trauma for the whole globe. And all of those have been linked credibly to gain-of-function research. So it's something that with enormous cost and no proven benefits.
None at all. So you guys remember when we got back, we'll get back to CNN here for a second about how they played games with everybody's mind. Dana Fauci on X said, important reminder of when CNN intentionally used a blurry and yellow filter to make Joe Rogan appear more sick, as he mentioned using ivermectin and other remedies to quickly recover from COVID. Look at this.
And it turns out I got COVID. So we immediately threw the kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds, monoclonal antibodies, ivermectin, Z-Pak, prednisone, everything.
Yeah, remember they made fun of him. The Hollywood went after him. The politicians attacked him. The original video, he looks great. The broadcast version, they actually made him look sick. That's how they played games with the people. Trump's new NIH chief outlined sweeping reforms like new pandemic playbook, vaccine injury body. Gunnar Engelman says it's finally being fixed, NIH. That new director, Jay Bhattacharya, put out the reforms. Permanent ban on gain-of-function research. Brand new pandemic playbook. No more lockdown, school closures, or mandates. Dedicated vaccine injury research center so injured Americans stop getting gaslit. Clear message. America will never again fund research that risks catastrophic human harm. It's what accountability looks like. So anybody that tells you again, well, President Trump says bad things. I don't think that he's a good guy. I think that he was part of this and part of that, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead and remind them again and again, if he wasn't president, where we'd be today.
We need to protect our constitutional rights. That is the primary obligation of our country. Mean? Well, during COVID, we completely dismantled our constitutional rights. We began censoring people in violation of the First Amendment.
But I'm not, you're saying what not to do. I'm asking what to do. But I want to talk about.
That's something to do. That is the number one priority. We protect the Constitution. The Constitution was written.
Forgive me, but you're talking about rights, and I'm asking about a potential public health crisis. that is coming. But I do want to
She keeps saying that this crisis is coming. Why? Do they still have some sense of power? Or are they calling Bash directly at CIA and saying, hey, we still got some remnants of the CIA left, and we're going to let you know we got something in the burner. Keep reminding folks that there's another one coming. Keep stoking the fear. Instead of asking questions to try to help the American people and staying calm with him and saying, really? What do you mean? Well, when we live according to the Constitution, let me tell you how it works. Oh, how does it work, sir? Tell me what was going on. Nope, it's how dare you? I asked a question. You're not answering it properly the way I want it because there's another one coming.
I do want to
And one of the mistakes we made in last time was suppressing those rights so people weren't being heard. The doctors who were saying you're doing it wrong were being marginalized and vilified.
Yeah,
and
because again, I really want to move on, but
yeah,
you were saying yes, I do.
Part of the problem.
No.
You want to move on because you're part of the problem. Get him, RFK Jr. She's just in the wrong league. All that CIA training, all the abilities that she's had to knock the people down, but stay really calm and play games and be nice to little Biden, who doesn't even have his mind left over. Remember what she did during the debate? She kept pointing, look over here, Mr. Biden. Remember how she interviews Kamala, makes it so wonderful. But RFK Jr. comes in, starts telling the truth, and she loses her mind.
I wasn't part of the problem.
There was absolute press malpractice. You weren't allowing your
Mr. Secretary,
your job
is
a furious skepticism toward authority. And
yes,
you weren't doing that. You were beating up
my
on
job
people
is also
who were dissenting.
No. Okay. Are you want to sit here and attack me, or do you want to have conversations about public health? I'm not attacking you. I'm asking questions about how to prevent the next pandemic.
You're attacking me. Then let me answer the questions. Good. That's what we're all sitting there in our living rooms. If you're watching this and you're going, you know what? Good. You're attacking me. No, you're attacking me. Well, I'm asking questions I need to answer. Well, let me answer them. She doesn't want him to answer the questions. Why? She's being paid off. Paid off. Where do I have that? Oh, here it is. Remember, this is what they were doing.
Good Morning America is brought to you by Pfizer. CBS Health Watch sponsored by Pfizer. Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
ABC News Nightline. Brought to you by Pfizer. Making a difference. Brought to you by Pfizer.
CNN Tonight. Brought to you by Pfizer. Early Start. Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This Week with George Stephanopoulos is brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now a CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press Data Download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer.
On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Bill Gates' advice on how to combat mistrust in science at 60minutesovertime.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You really need to get vaccinated.
You know, COVID vaccines are now available for children 5 years and older. And the more people who get them, the better we're going to be able to help stop the spread of COVID.
Never forget. Those folks collapsing on screen, brought to you by Pfizer. You can't say anything against these guys because they're getting funded. Big bucks going in their pockets. It's like the mafia. It's all playing out for us to see. Let's not forget, about a month ago, top former Fauci advisor indicted for COVID cover-up.
Former top advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID. Rich Edson on this story. Intriguing, Rich. What you find out there in Washington?
Yeah, it is, Bill. The Justice Department has charged David Morins, a doctor, with conspiracy, claiming he concealed federal records to counter evidence that COVID-19 may have leaked from a lab in China, all to help restore a controversial coronavirus grant. Morins, a former aide to Dr. Anthony Fauci, testified before the House's COVID Select Subcommittee nearly 2 years ago about emails he'd sent in February 2021, claiming that he'd learned to make emails disappear after he received Freedom of Information Act requests.
Ever delete or attempt to delete a federal record
No, but let me explain why. When I came there in 1998, we were instructed to delete emails or to move them into PST files frequently because they jammed the computer.
The Justice Department says Morin's used his personal Gmail account to exchange non-public information. The indictment also claims an unnamed co-conspirator gave Morin's wine for his, quote, behind-the-scenes shenanigans, then suggested he could push scientific commentary in a prominent medical journal advocating that COVID-19 had natural origins. That's a competing claim with the lab leak theory. The indictment says the co-conspirator could also provide meals at top restaurants in Paris, New York, and Washington, D.C. In April 2020, the NIH terminated that back coronavirus grant awarded to EcoHealth Alliance, who then contracted the Wuhan Institute of Virology to conduct that research in China. From the start of the pandemic, its president, Peter Daszak, worked to discredit any theory that COVID-19 had leaked from that lab.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, buddy. Anybody notice something? It's just, or is it just me? You put it in your comments below. There's a picture of him, probably when he first started working for Fauci. And there he is on Capitol Hill. I know it could have been years and years ago, but I just noticed he has a little slight smile. He looks happy and go lucky. Here, he can't keep a smile. He looks like he hasn't slept in ages. And you know, it seems like when you mess around with the dark side takes over your whole life. That's my personal opinion. Santa surfing, interesting moves. 3 states launching investigations into Fauci. Presidential pardons only cover federal crimes. Oh yeah, the pardon protects Fauci from being prosecuted for any federal crimes he may have committed during that time period, but it does not protect him from state prosecutors. Florida, Louisiana, and Alabama. Oh man. Fauci had to go first. Observing Consciousness put these wonderful graphics together using AI. And his message for this, Fauci had to go first. He was the face everyone knew. Morin's took us behind the curtain into the private emails, deleted records, Freedom of Information Act evasion, EcoHealth, Daszak, Wuhan, NIH, the grants, the research, the officials who buried the lab leak, the media that carried the story, the platforms that enforced it, the intelligence layer that gave it cover, and the political structure that protected the whole thing. Now D-Class starts laying it all over the same map. The money, the communications, the agency decisions, the censorship, the people who approved it, the people who hid it, the people who attacked anyone getting too close. The trail keeps widening and it runs straight back through the Obama years where the structure was built, funded, staffed, and protected. Fauci was the first door. Morin's just opened the hallway, and we're just getting started. Good stuff. Thank you, Observing Consciousness, for that. When we get back, I'm going to show you the reminder. We're going to have a little humor there from Jim Burr, what he was doing back then to remind us about Fauci, his shenanigans. And speaking of comedians, this guy right here, Bill Maher, whatever you think about him, actually puts out information to people that would never listen to us about the communist takeover of the Democrat Party, who they're actually bringing in. I can't wait to show you these characters from the dark side. And then we're going to get into the Oxford amazing debate. I watched the entire thing through, and I tell you, even my son and my daughter sat down with me, and we watched it together, and they were ecstatic about what they were learning and the discussions we had around the table. We'll be back. Are you tired of tap water loaded with toxins like lead, arsenic, and chlorine? That hidden danger building up in your pipes, your showers, your family's health? What if every drop could be pure, mineral-rich, and delicious instead? Introducing the AQ Whole House Water Filtration System from Sentry H2O. The revolutionary two-stage powerhouse neutralizes hard and soft scale, no salt needed, while stripping away over a dozen nasty contaminants, fluoride, pesticides, bacteria, even pharmaceuticals. Custom options for city or well water, including iron and nitrates removal. For homes up to 2,500 square feet, it delivers alkaline, calcium-enriched water every faucet can get it. Say goodbye to dry skin and dull hair. Sentry H2O's shower water filter hydrates like a spa day. Their compact under-sink wellness system, well, it's a 5-stage filtration in zero-waste design, boost pH, adds magnesium, installs in 15 minutes, no plumber required. Thousands of families transforming their water. So folks, shop the AWK revolution at sentryh2o.com/AWK in the description box below. Please use that code AWK for 10% off, and that if you're starting a New Year's health journey, toxin-free water can help with weight loss and overall health as well. We interviewed Nelson last month. See the full interview in the link below to learn more.
Trust the experts. Trust the experts. Trust the science. Trust the science. CDC, CDC, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci. Mask on, mask off, 2 shots, 1 shot, mask on, 2 masks. Comply, comply.
Thank you all for coming out and risking your lives. Who wants a shot? Who wants to see a ball game? Ooh, 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 ooh. Wave your flipper. That's for you. Go see the ball game. Who wants to work again? That's for you. Who wants their kids educated? What's in the shot? It's safe. Don't worry. Don't worry. Go ahead, get it. It's 6 foot safe. Social distance, 6 foot safe. Five-foot danger. 6 foot safe. 5-foot danger. If you're 6 foot safe, I'm 5-foot danger. I'm coming to breathe on you. I'm the grandma killer. Listen to the rules. Here come the governors. Bump, 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 bump.
That's my favorite part.
We have no rules and regulations. We shall determine who is essential. We shall determine who may go at your house and who shall have a muffin. And remember, if you see any children playing uns outside together, report them and their parents. This is for your safety.
It was so good during that time, folks. We needed that. Had a chance to interview him, if you guys remember. Had a chance to meet him a couple of times. And he said, hey, LT, I'll never forget. He says, man, folks from And We Know wearing your shirts. And he'd point at them, and they'd point back and say, And We Know. Yeah, And We Know. And he said it was pretty funny. A little bit later, I saw him again, and he goes, hey, you know, they used to say And We Know. He goes, now they say, hey, what does he look like? And I said, tell him that I'm just this... no wonder he doesn't show his face. You would believe what he looks like. We had a good laugh when I told him that. Anyway, now from the laughter to these guys that just don't laugh anymore when they realize the Democrat Party's being taken over. Awaken Outlaw showed this, said, watch this clip. Bill Maher reading the DSA platform to a Los Angeles studio audience, and they gasped out loud. You got to watch this and keep in mind that if it was a conservative saying the exact same thing, this audience would have, number one, never hear it, right? They're all liberals, and it's a conservative talking. I'm not going to listen to him. And number two, if they did, they wouldn't pay any attention to what was being said. So again, part of me thinks, because we know he's a red shoe guy. If you guys know the red shoes and what it means, you'll get it. They went in, I think, this is my opinion, they had a talk with him and said, this is what you're going to do. You're going to, little by little, drop in crumbs when we need them to wake up the liberals because they're listening to you. And they're not going to see it coming. And we're going to let you talk. At the end of all this, we'll deal with you. So this is what he said to his liberal audience.
And finally, new rule, Donald Trump has told 1 trillion lies, but when he says the Democratic Socialists of America are actually communist, that's not one of them. And it's not hard to prove it, just by quoting the DSA and their candidates. J.D. Vance was on the show, and I told him that if the Democratic Party keeps going in the direction of the DSA, my vote was in play. And all I heard all vacation was, oh my God, you're a Republican now. No, that's not what I said. I said in play. And here's why. Because not a week goes by where I don't read about some newly chosen, exciting new face in the Democratic Party. And then when that face opens its mouth, the Communist Manifesto. Again, let's just read the quotes. The DSA platform says you work as much as you are able and no more than needed. If that was any closer to Karl Marx's dictum, from each according to his abilities to each according to his needs, they'd be sued for plagiarism. New York Mayor Mondani once tweeted Karl Marx's words exactly. They're not trying to hide it. Their most popular influencer, Hassan Piker, thinks communism is so groovy. He laments the fall of the two of the most murderous regimes in history, the Soviet Union and Chairman Mao's China. Mondani's aide, his top aide, Sia Weaver, said, if you don't believe in the government's sacred right to seize property, it's over, and impoverish the white middle class. What? That's a goal? You know you're supposed to scare people into voting for you, right?
Imagine these folks never listen to us, but they'll listen to Bill Mayer all day long. And he brings up what's happening in the Democrat, Socialist, Marxist, Communist Party. Let me show you the faces on your screen. If you're not looking and listening, they're not something you would want representing you. Believe me. Bad Hombre said, let's take a look from the top again. Here's the Democrat lineup going into the midterms. A diagnosed bipolar Asian chick with a history of self-harm who's been institutionalized in a psychiatric ward and overdosed on lithium and wants to get rid of Thanksgiving. A guy who plays with the Dr. Fauci doll proclaims his love for trans kids and met his girlfriend at a gay bar. A guy who dresses up as a mechanic for fun and married his cousin, and they had a couple of kids. A guy who frequents events where participants get upset in a kiddie pool while wearing, well, I can't say that word, whose claim to fame is lowering the age of consent for men to have, you know what, with boys as young as 12. A Haitian chick who thinks the United States is a blanking disgrace wants to abolish borders, law enforcement, and prisons. And a Muslim guy who believes the U.S. deserved 9/11 is funded by the Muslim Brotherhood and whose wife and father-in-law have terrorist connections. That's who they're bringing in. While all this is playing out, we get comms from the White House. Timeline cleanse, sounds of summer in America, where it looks like a father or grandfather's fishing with his son or grandson. It was dropped August 1st. Torch put this out. Only one Q post contains fishing. Fishing is fun. Right after we mentioned Fox News, what a coincidence. Fishing is fun. Interesting. What are they fishing for? President Trump dropped all kinds of memes. One of them is 51st state Venezuela. Hello, Greenland. He's still looking there. And you've got 250 years from George Washington to President Trump. In God we trust. there. We put, not saying that he's God, it's what the saying is, of course, that we have in our coins. Civil War. What else do we have? The signing, like you saw on the thumbnail. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, President Trump. Ultra Magadine, President Trump's truth's a meme of George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and himself preparing to put their signatures on what appears to be an old map of the United States and has a timestamp of 8:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You take out that 0, it's 87. Drop 87 on the keyboard, folks. This is a direct connection with what he dropped so that we understand and hear it straight from him. My signatures all reference upcoming events about to drop if this hasn't been caught on. Snow White, Godfather 3. Each of these presidents at one time throughout our history have changed the direction of our country in a very positive way. And now it appears President Trump is signaling his signatures will all reference upcoming events about to drop that will change the course of history once again. And of course, we're reminded by the White House, locked in, trust in Trump, and he's walking away from Marine One. Speaking of locked in, President Trump said this: the USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank goodness they put Islamic in there. I hope they finally get to America, folks, and we wake up to what's happening in our country, which I'm going to share later. Their takeover of our own country. He continues, against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack and that the perimeters of a deal has been agreed to. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Hormuz Strait and an end to Iran's nuclear threat. Based on this request, I have agreed for the future benefit of the world and likewise the survival of a successful and prosperous Iran to cancel the attack, subject to being able to rapidly make a deal. The country of Israel joins me in this commitment. Get to work, everybody, and get it done. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
I don't think the Iranian regime has ever faced a president like President Trump, which is someone that actually takes action. You know, they got used to for 20 or 30 years, not just the U.S., but the broader world, allowing them to get away with things like lying, breaking deals, tricking people into agreements and so forth. In this particular case, it's pretty straightforward. Iran wants a nuclear weapon, and they were building a conventional missile shield they were going to hide behind. In essence, they wanted to be in a position a year and a half from now to be able to say, we have so many drones and so many missiles, you can't possibly defend against them. That's the place they wanted to get to. President Trump said, I'm not going to let you get to that place. And he went after, wiped out their Navy, wiped out their Air Force, wiped out their missile defenses, wiped out their launchers, wiped out their factories that make all of these things, and severely degraded their defense capabilities. Now, they still have missiles and they still have drones and they can still do damage, but they no longer have that shield, that conventional shield that they could hide behind. And that's changed the whole dynamic. It's the only reason why they are now willing, and in some cases seem eager, to do a deal on denuclearization, to do a deal on the straits, because we're now approaching them from a position of strength, not from a position of weakness, which is what they perceived from previous administrations and frankly from the world writ large.
Well, position of strength, and they hide behind a shield, right, as he's talking about that. Well, in our own country, we've got shields that are being hidden behind folks taking advantage of our own country. And hopefully this is being dealt with. H-1B visa workers. Listen to the fraud on this one.
The holders since 2015. Over 70% came from India and nearly 12% from China. And when you zoom in on this map you're looking at, you can see where most are being hired. The dark red spots show a high density of H-1B visa holders. And now we're learning more about the fraud within the program. One former official tells Newsweek that up to 90% of applications, 90% from India, contain fraudulent documents or involve unqualified applicants.
9 out of 10 folks from India in the United States illegally.
And finance law enforcement in India claim it has uncovered a network of universities that produce fake degrees which were possibly used to obtain these high-skilled H-1B visas, including one school which allegedly stole over 36,000 fake degrees, sold, I should say. It cost as little as $1,400 for one of those. And while these are supposed to be high-skilled employees, during almost all of Biden's time in office, 83% got junior or entry-level positions. And now Texas is taking action, cracking down on those abusing the program.
83% getting jobs. And then you wonder what's happening to our own kids, our own country, and the ability to find good jobs and more. Stolen. Heading back over to the distraction from Fauci, it's my opinion. They sent in all of a sudden, the day after Fauci gets exposed on mainstream media and more, they're having a hard time holding it in because all these people are discovering things. Well, hey, let's go and have Morocco, send them a message, send 30, 40, 50,000 people into a place called Ceuta, I guess they call it. I tried to call it Ceuta, whatever they call it. Ceuta, I believe it's Spain. It's right in the northern tip, right above Morocco. If you're looking at it, they're still there. Joe M. said the only difference between the U.S. and Spain is the Islamic invaders are already inside the U.S. They own homes and guns. Every mosque has a stockpile secret safe room filled with weapons. They are simply lying in wait. They are working on birthing us, having more kids than us, right? Which they are doing by 10 to 1. They shop in their own stores. They homeschool their kids to keep a low profile, but don't be fooled. They are here. And I'm showing you on the screen those guys that crossed over into Ceuta, Spain. Oh, yeah, they're hanging out there. They got to eat. They got to drink. They've got to go find places to use the bathroom and more. They're still there. But they're also in the United States, and they're not out in the open anymore. And remember, it appears that 80% live on our money, our taxpayer dollars. So they get all of our money. They have kids, get more money for more kids. Become filthy rich off that. So therefore, they just, while we're falling apart, kids having a hard time finding jobs to get paid well, so they don't get married or they don't want to have children because they're too scared because how much it's going to cost, all that stuff that we have to go through. And they're like, oh no, we're multimillionaires. We can have as many kids as possible. The only thing that will protect the U.S. from the invasion is to deport all Muslims now before they get a chance to act on their plan. I don't care if they have citizenship, says Joe M. Denaturalize them. They present a clear and present danger to our country and our nation's future. The time to act is now, Secretary Rubio. Now, I want to show you something real quick. President Trump put this out because of President Donald J. Trump. Oil experts are surging. Now the U.S. is the king of oil. Gunnar Eagleman, boom. President Trump just dropped the receipts. U.S. crude oil of exports are surging to all-time historic highs. Look at that chart. Flat for decades, then the shale revolution, and now under Trump it's going vertical. America's the king of oil, not Saudi, not Russia, U.S. Energy dominance isn't a slogan. It's happening in real time. This is what happens when you put America first instead of Green New Deal fantasies. Drill, baby, drill just became an export. And if you guys missed it, we put out a great video Saturday. Central banks make significant gold purchases. Why is that happening? And we're being told by Dr. Kirk Elliott, if they're doing it, the writing's on the wall. It's time for us to do it also. And we know .com/gold in the description box below. You guys know we have these videos just about every Saturday. And what he put out to let us know how this is playing out for the world to see is phenomenal. I hope that you talk to him or somebody on his staff. It will change your life. We see big things coming. Big things. Now, here's a Shia Muslim mosque of Dearborn, Michigan, declaring its allegiance to Islamic regime.
We're gathered here today to commemorate the martyrdom of the great leader of our time, As-Sayyid Ali al-Hussein al-Khamenei, rahmatullahi alayh.
We might think this was an attack led by Zionist Jews, but the commander of their mission is the very one who was trying to prove that Adam was not worth prostrating to. Iblis, is the one behind the scenes leading their camp, in the shadows lurking, irking in their symbology, their ideologies, their psychology, their economy, claiming they follow the laws of Moses and Deuteronomy. Iblis is the hidden commander of today's society. Regardless of the
So they go through this whole screen. I'm showing to you. I'm going really fast. They have basically admitted their allegiance to the Islamic regime in Iran, calling the U.S. a nation of devil worshippers. He keeps talking about. Yeah. And they're honoring Khomeini. And they keep talking about jihad and more. Now, if you head over to the UK, if you're looking at your screen, a man taped his own mouth as a symbolic protest act. 2026 UK flag-raising campaigns by groups like Raise the Colors amid immigration protests, public concerns over grooming cases, and migrant crimes. So he was arrested. In England, people are going to jail for loving their country and defending children.
This man has done nothing wrong.
So in the same area, I've played videos where they set up their speakers, the Muslims, and they do their little prayer over the entire area. Do they get arrested? No. They're allowed to do whatever they want. When man puts tape on his mouth, wears a flag, they arrest him. So he's making a statement. If you're not part of Islam, you're arrested. If you support your country, you're taken down. Which leads to this amazing debate. Now, I put the entire debate, 2 hours plus, in the description box below. I also put an amazing section of the debate from Lawrence here. He was phenomenal, and I'm going to show you a portion of that because his goes about 13 minutes. I can't show the whole thing. I'm encouraging you to go in the description box below. Watch the entire thing with your family, friends. A brilliant takedown by these speakers. But their debate was hinged on, should we be suspicious of Islam? Lawrence Fox is his name. And on X, he says, "You are the change, the Reclaim Party, Bad Law Team, Media Reclaim, Media Inquiries." He puts that out, badlawproject.com. He's at 3 or 4 million views on his part of the speech alone. Basil the Great said, "This is absolutely brilliant from Lawrence Fox. It's a perfect moment to demonstrate not only how intolerant Islam is, but it also proves the entire Oxford Union audience know as well, despite pretending otherwise. Lawrence is about to unveil an image of the Prophet Muhammad." Check this out. The whole audience, they're in suspense. There are interruptions. They're freaking out because he's about to do it. They plead with him. They try to shut him down. The rules come out. There is an intake of breath. You can tell the room is completely on edge from what he's about to do in his speech. And I'll read the rest of that in a moment. Check this out.
52% compulsory halal. I could go on and on and on and on. But most important to me is the free speech of this. So let's get this out, shall we? 78% of British Muslims believe that no publication should publish pictures of Muhammad. An overwhelming majority. That rises to 87%. That's 9 out of every 10 Muslims that are walking the streets today in a country which absolutely abandoned blasphemy laws. Suspicion is not strong enough a word. The West should resist Islam in the strongest terms on free speech grounds alone. So here we are with this cartoon, right? And it's time to show that I will not submit. I will not adhere to the religious laws of far-off places. Now, my wife asked me not to show this for fear of repercussions in my family, but I told her that if I did not, then I had already submitted to Islam.
Now, the president of the Islam side of the Oxford is about to stand up and try to stop him. in a way, the way she does it. Okay, now, for those listening, not watching, for those watching and maybe wonder what's going on, if you didn't realize this, there was a guy who drew a cartoon of Muhammad. How dare he? And when he did, they killed him. No tolerance whatsoever. So he is opening an envelope, and it appears that he's about to take that very cartoon out that offends the Muslims. And if he does this, he's basically realizing that his own life would be in danger, showing, should we be suspicious of the Islamic practice? Well, he's basically in his speech saying, are they suspicious of us and what we're going to do?
Oh, here we are.
Is it not enough that half the team that invited you to this debate were Muslim women who wanted to hear out your expression and your arguments? Is it not enough that I, as a Muslim president, have invited you to this chamber to give your arguments? Is that not enough justification and evidence for you to believe that we do believe in free speech? I would not become the president of a free speech society if not for that.
Thank you, Al. May I? Thank you very much. May I finish? Excuse me.
A point of order having been raised, I'll hear the ex-librarian.
It's a long time since I've been in this chamber and knew the rules off by heart. But in the House of Commons, and we model ourselves on the House of Commons, props are not allowed. I wonder whether the rule on props is the same in the Oxford Union.
So he's saying props are not allowed. I believe I know all the rules because I'm the librarian.
I thank the honourable gentleman for his point of order.
Excuse me, for 1 second.
One moment.
In the absence...
Mr. Fox, one moment, Mr. Fox. The ex-president is also raising a point of order, I think.
Just so it's helpful to inform the ex-librarian and others, at least my 4 years involved with society, that ban was not extended and didn't seem to apply to the Israel and Palestine flag.
Thank you. So, right, I just want to wrap this up.
I am going to rule on the point of order. There is no bar in the forms of the House against the use of props. However, I would encourage Mr. Fox to make the point and move on.
You see? You feel the tension? Now, he had been talking for about 10, 11 minutes already, and he'd made his point really well. The folks were getting devastated, beat down. And he held that up in the beginning of his speech and said, I'll deal with this later, but this is a cartoon that's caused a lot of problems. And they're freaking out because he's about to pull this cartoon out.
I was, until points of order. So it is in that spirit that I will not submit that I show you this as an Englishman who believes in free speech. I will not submit. I will not bow down.
And for those listening and not watching, he did bring out a cartoon, a caricature of one of the folks on the other side, not the Prophet Muhammad. So everybody's laughing. The relief on the Muslim side was probably unbearable at the time, but he proves his point.
Right. So, I think which rather proves the point I was trying to make, that in this envelope lived your fear.
In this envelope lived your fear.
And your fear of Islam and what Islam will do to you that when you upset its very oversensitive sky wizard.
When you upset its very oversensitive sky wizard, Islam freaks out. They freak out because I'm about to pull out a cartoon. They have fear of what I'm about to do.
And what lived in this room is a healthy and brilliant and noble British tradition of suspicion of Islam. I encourage you to pass the motion. Thank you very much.
So in that room while he was doing that, everyone was suspicious of Islam and what they would do to him if he pulled out that Prophet Muhammad cartoon. Oh, brilliant. I could watch it over and over again. Continue with Basil the Great. They know if he pulls out that Prophet Muhammad cartoon, his life will be at risk, and the Oxford Union may well be at risk too, from the supposedly tolerant religion the other side are defending. Proving Lauren's point, that Islam is not compatible with our society at all. At all. When you watch this, Lawrence's trick here is absolutely brilliant. It's well worth the entire debate just to watch it play out. Now, when the other side gets up to talk, I'll just play one particular clip that played, and I'll explain.
Perhaps tonight's motion is less about the West's relationship with Islam and more about yours.
So this is Oxford Union member and Muslim Aisha Khan Aziz, named after Muhammad's 9-year-old bride. Get that? And it was brought up by, boy, you're about to see, because she's not happy at what was brought up by Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson stood up and gave the first part of the debate and destroyed them and put out information that was just showing exactly what they do with children. And she was glorifying in her power to set loose a mob on her opponents in this debate. So she stupidly proves the point that Islam is violent.
Stephen Yaxley Lennon, known to his hooligans as Tommy Robinson. Stephen, there is a crowd outside rioting against you tonight, and without the protection and generosity of a Muslim Palestinian president and a mostly South Asian executive committee, you would be quite literally cooked.
If it wasn't for the protection that we provide you, the mobs that you guys are scared of, that you're proving your point, basically, that we should be suspicious of us, well, guess what? They would take your life. Elika de Lebon. The paradox of tolerance. First, you must allow an intolerant ideology into your tolerant society. Next, you must be grateful the ideology did not kill you for not tolerating it. Now your society is dominated by the intolerant. Don't worry. They'll have security for you. President Trump posted a clip standing on the front lines of a battle for our country. The Continental Army General during the American Revolutionary War, Ultra Dean, says appearing to be George Washington on a hill with his troops, and has a timestamp of 2:13 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is President Trump letting us know he was actually there and that time travel is real? That's an interesting debate that many folks have. And if time travel is real, his timestamp at 2:13 would really make sense. So, let's read it. The world cannot swallow the truth. Q.
For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you now. Grateful that you've allowed us to have this platform, the ability to see things through social media and more, and that there's so many people out there posting information, gathering information, downloading videos and more, and putting this all together so that we could be here, learning the truth of what's playing out before our very eyes, watching the enemy, how they infiltrate, and what we can do about it and more. We certainly couldn't make it in this battle without you, and so we ask again for your guidance, your direction, your strength to give us the ability to play out in this battle what you have us to do, to pray, to stand on the front lines, to go to the meetings, to speak up. Whatever you have us to do at this time, we ask that you would help us. Protect us, protect our families and more. We certainly ask for continued protection over our president, over his family, over those in leadership, those in uniform, and more. We bring this all before you in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen. Thank you, guys, for tuning in. Thank you for your prayers. Much needed. A lot going on. You guys are so good to us. For now, it's LT Semper Fi with them we know. Signing out.
When there is not anything.
Let me ask you something. Do you see your job as ending vaccine hesitancy, or do you see your job as telling the truth for the American people?
I see my job as telling the truth, and the truth is that there is study after study after study. It's one of the most studied things out there in science, and it is
like a parrot.
Trust the experts. Trust the experts. Trust the science. Trust the science.
You
Let
are
me finish.
saying
Let me
nonsense. You are saying something that you cannot show me a single study.
I am not saying nonsense.
You
I
are
am
talking what somebody
me.
told you.
Excuse me.
And you
Let me
cite me the study.
What study?
Anderson Cooper 360. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Former top advisor to Dr. Anthony Fauci now facing criminal charges. This over an alleged cover-up involving research into the origins of COVID.
Most important to me is the free speech of this. So, let's get this out, shall we? 78% of British Muslims believe that no publication should publish pictures of Muhammad. An overwhelming majority. That rises to 87%. That's 9 out of every 10 Muslims that are walking the streets today in a country which absolutely abandoned blasphemy laws.